L200 portable. I've got one sitting right here. I'm actually get it in there close enough to me so it'll show up on Zoom. And today I'm going to talk about LTE converged devices, of which the XL200 is one. So let's see if I can get the screen to advance. There we go. So on the picture here, you're going to see the XL200. This is a portable. It's also, and we'll talk about some of the other variants of it, as well as a mobile. So we have both a portable and mobile version of the XL family now. But before I jump right in and start talking about products and all the cool stuff that they can do, let's take a couple minutes just to talk about where mission critical communications, a little bit of the past, where we are today, and where do we maybe envision ourselves in the future with mission critical communications. So in the past, we all, L3Harris and other competitors out there had proprietary signaling, proprietary systems. And when you basically, at that point, if you bought a system, you were kind of locked into the radios of that manufacturer. Along comes P25, right? The trends were there is to now come up with a non-proprietary form of signaling that benefits the end users in the way that now you can buy a system from vendor A and maybe radios from vendor A, B, and C if that works out for you to allow competitive bidding. So it really worked out in favor of the users out there to have the ability to buy systems and the infrastructure and radios from manufacturers and kind of cross-pollinated if you wanted. So if you didn't want to lock yourself into one vendor, and it really allowed competitive bidding. And that was the trend that was out there. So that was the standardized for LMR. Now we've all heard of FirstNet, hopefully. If not, I'll give a little brief overview, but FirstNet, Verizon LTE coverage, we know that there is mission critical LTE out there today. But the devices still, does that mean that all of a sudden we're going to flip a switch and all of the LMR systems that are out there go away? And no. In fact, that's not really the initial intent of any of these different LTE vendors that are out there. L3Harris several years ago knew that this was coming, and when we were developing the XL portables, and rather than have two devices that the user would have to carry around, we went with what's called a converged solution. Muscle memory for first responders is very key. They train all the time on using a device that looks like this or the mobile. And by doing that training, they know where the push to talk is. They know how to operate, how to change channels, how to do volume without looking or doing any type of studying of the device itself. It's all through muscle memory. So when we did our voice of the customer, we felt in order to allow that muscle memory and not force a retraining of the end users, when LTE comes along, we integrated the LTE capability directly into the device. And I'll talk about how that works in a couple of screens, but it's very important to understand that was the main thing. But right now there are different proprietary push to talk over broadband or over cellular or LTE solutions, but that is coming to like the FirstNet push to talk that we'll talk a little bit about, or the Verizon. So we're going to see a morphing of all these, just like we did with LMR. We'll see the different LTE manufacturers come to a standardized mission critical push to talk solution. A little bit about FirstNet. I put this out here because I'm going to share the deck and make it available so that everyone has it. To understand why FirstNet, where did FirstNet come from? The main reasons are reliability. With LTE, the biggest hindrance to adoption right now is just you got to prove this that it's just as robust as our LMR systems, right? That's where the different LTE manufacturers, public safety is kind of saying you got to show we know our LMR systems. No matter what manufacturer, they have a level of mission critical performance that we expect. So FirstNet says you're absolutely right, and we're going to give you that. We're giving you reliability. We're going to give you the interoperability in order to combine all that disparate, greater than 10,000 networks across the U.S. To really connect all of North America and many of the the provinces that we also have outside of the mainland US. So in partnership, we are our partner with FirstNet. We've got all of the XL portable devices. There's an XL 200, which is our multi-band, an XL 185, which is a single band portable, and a very lower cost variant, XL 150 portable. They are all FirstNet certified. They also they're Verizon certified, so you're not locked into one carrier. They're dual SIM capable, so you have the ability to work on multiple LTE networks by using it. And I'll get into more details of what the radios can do in just a moment. So let's talk about the portable. The XL 200 and 185 were actually the first fully integrated hybrid or converged radio that was introduced into the market. It's available in, like I said, a single band version, which is the XL 150 or the 185. And also a multi-band that gives you the ability to have VHF, UHF, 7 and 800 megahertz all in one device, if you like. And they are currently Verizon, AT&T, and FirstNet Ready certified. The modems that we use in the XL200 are commercial off-the-shelf modems, so they support actually all of the different carriers. And if there's a carrier that you need that we don't have, talk to us and we can definitely put it in. It's really just a matter of going through and getting the certification process. And we're active in Canada right now, getting the carriers all certified for the XL devices right now. And what's that allowed? So now by having LTE, not only will you be able to have mission critical voice and FirstNet push to talk over that LTE network, programming of the device, which now with that broadband pipe will allow you to program the radios much faster. Also integrated into the XL200 is a full Wi-Fi, and that allows programming, and you can set up hotspots with the radio. So if you've got the LTE option and you're connected into Verizon or FirstNet or AT&T, you can now set your XL200 up as a hotspot and tether devices to it, just like you would at your home right now. And you could, as I'm doing right now, talk on a Zoom meeting through your XL200. There is also built-in Bluetooth, which allows an SCBA or a Bluetooth-enabled microphone to tether to the radio. And of course, there's built-in GPS. And we support both the P25 standard, which is tier 2, and in-band GPS. And there's something to just stop and take a moment with the XL portables and the mobiles, and in fact, all of the Harris P25 products, they all go through the compliance assessment program, which is CAP certification for P25 networks. And what that means, again, like I said earlier, that you can buy the Harris XL family of radios or any of our products, whether they're portables or mobiles, and they will interoperate with Motorola, with E.F. Johnson, with Tate Systems, anything that has went through that same P25 compliance assessment program. It's the de facto thing you got to do, right? If you're Department of Homeland Security has that set up. So the different manufacturers have to go through and actually validate and prove that their devices are interoperable, and the L3Harris devices are. And that's good. It allows you, again, for the user to call in competitive bidding, right? You can put different manufacturers up against each other and let us fight out in a little bit of a price war because the radios are going to work. And that's key. That's what you have to understand. Key differentiators of the portables, there's a bold graphic display, very loud audio. It's actually the industry's leading 1.5 watt rated, but it's a 4 watt peak. The XL200s are extremely loud. Sadly, we're in a Zoom meeting right now, so if I blasted it, all you're going to hear is whatever your computer or the room that you're in audio is, but we would love to get a chance in the coming months, hopefully when the COVID tethers down a little bit, that we can actually get in front of you and let you hear the devices. Last call playback, we actually store the last 5 calls, and noise cancellation, multi-mics allow active noise cancellation for your backgrounds, because we know that the first responders that utilize these devices aren't always in a quiet room. There's sirens and there's chainsaws and there's pumper trucks going off with a lot of noise. And the big thing that with the XL, we called our superpower is that we have the LTE modem built in, we have the Wi-Fi modem built in, and we have the LMR bands all built in, and we allow roaming between LMR to LMR systems, so you can roam from one P25 network to another, as well as roam from LMR over to an LTE to FirstNet. If you get out of range of your LMR system, you can fail over and jump onto an LTE network, if you get out of range of your LMR network, you can get onto a Wi-Fi if you desire. The radio can store up to 32 specific ID and password combinations of Wi-Fi networks that the radio will roam onto. So another shout out for the FirstNet Ready certification of the XL mobiles. That's the additional family member. Again, all of the FirstNet and LMR in a one device. I won't read all the blurbs there because we've got it here. The XL mobile is also available in a single or multi-band. Now with the mobile, we had a little bit more real estate space. So we were able to put VHF low band, VHF standard 136 to 174 in there, UHF low, high, 7, 8, and 900 megahertz, all in that one device. Again, LTE capability, Verizon, AT&T, FirstNet in there with embedded noise cancellation in the microphone. If the display on the mobile looks sorta or kind of like what you saw with the XL200, because that's it is. It's basically an XL200 in that control head. And the advantage there is that we all know that if you're transitioning over to a new product, whether it's from the same manufacturer or a different manufacturer, that training and how do the users operate the devices, it's key, right? And with the XL mobiles and portables, since we use the same user interfaces between the two, that's the same personality that's shared between the two. You can take a mobile personality and read it out and put it right into a portable. And it's also got the same, the firmware in it. So there's a lot of commonality there. If a user is trained to operate the portable, they by default know how to operate a mobile. There might be a couple extra buttons that the mobile provides. As you see, the bottom on the mobile has 5 little pre-selects that you can, you think of, you could even have this on there if you have a talk group that you like to go to a lot, maybe we'll call it a home group. You can long press and while that talk group is active, long press one of those buttons if you desire, and it will store that. So then anytime in the future, if you come back, you can go ahead and press that same button. It'll take you right to that talk group without rotating through or going through menus to get to it. We thought a lot about and went out to see the end users. Notice that installs were sometimes a little bit of a pain. We've made it pretty easy. We use standard Ethernet cables to actually talk to the device and the radio. It's not powered. There is a power line that goes into there. And the control head is really 2 screws, and you can remove it from the front of the radio and have a remote mount capability and put the brick of the radio into the trunk. So we've made that as easy as possible for you to do that. And also, since it's setting up its own DHCP network, when you connect those control heads, right now we've got it set, you can have 5 different control heads connected to the radio simultaneously. So let's talk a little bit about this connectivity I was talking about with the radio. Right now, we'll say we've got an XL portable. It's capable of doing LMR, so whether it's VHF, UHF, 7, 8, the radio transmits, can talk over